Hi guys, this is Lachette from Scarlet Moon Creations, and I'm back with the March Elemental reading and April preview. So this month was kind of a lot. Unplanned a lot, but an okay lot? I don't know. The more I say a lot, the less it seems to make sense even to me. So let's just go right into it. Okay, so the first card, as always, is from the Thoth Tarot and represents the element of air, and that card for March was the Chariot. And get a little bit, there we go. Oh, look at that. And it just perfectly this time. How nice. So my month was a lot. I guess I put a lot on my plate. I did a lot of thinking and planning and scheduling. Air, as always, representing the mental aspects of life, thoughts, and also communication. And the Chariot is one of the major arcana cards, and we see this I was going to say knighted, not knighted, but armored figure here sitting on a chariot with this four beings that are supposed to pull it. But this particular chariot is different from the Rider Waite Smith one. He's more stationary, and I think that fits well with how my month went as far as thoughts and communication. Not a lot was happening, but a lot was happening. I feel like I'm explaining this, definitely explaining this horribly, but the Chariot is like a leader in a way, and a go-getter. This is normally an action card, but for this month, for March, for me, and in this particular card, it was more of a thoughtful card, and it meant me not being active as much physically, but more so mentally. I making a lot of decisions on what I want in life, being more present mentally in my own mental space, and a lot of incoming knowledge, incoming information. For example, I did 2 readathons. You've seen like the videos. If you haven't, you can check them out. And I challenged myself in both readathons, beyond just, reading a certain amount of books in a week, which is pushing it, but also the types of books I read. In both readathons, I had to read books outside of my comfort zone, and they were books outside of my comfort zone. And there is also books that nonfiction that I had to decide how they fit with me, what I thought about the information the authors were presenting, and whether I agreed or not with what was presented, and how that would fit with my beliefs, my values, my schedule, my structure of daily life, particularly the Lunar Abundance one. So there was a lot of looking inward. Even one fiction book, I was just like, that? It really came down to the fact that I didn't enjoy it because it did not fit with my beliefs and my values, which you don't expect. But it turned out to be like a psychological thriller type of thing. So there was that. Also, yeah, I think that was mostly it for the mental aspects of this month. It was just a lot, kind of pushing myself to deal with all the things, to not collapse mentally. So, yeah. Now let's move on to the fire card from, as always, the Deviant Moon Tarot. Now another major card. This is the World. Maybe, yeah, if I put her in the center, she shines bright. Okay. So fire representing action, passion, will, and creativity. The World usually represents the ending of one cycle, the beginning of another. Like, as the world turns, for those of you who might be a little older or just more into older soap operas that are, I believe, no longer on television. So turning over a new leaf, basically. Started creating a different system for how I create. Not a different system, but adjusting the system I have, and making space for the other types of creating that I do. Just kind of like reminder. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this card. Sorry. I think that it was mostly focused on my creative self. To explain, the way I've been running Scarlet Moon Creations as far as the Etsy shop and when I make those is that I have all the ingredients, I have all of the supplies, and when orders come in, I make them and they go out. And I periodically what's the word? Restock. And yeah, not very good at the whole restocking on a regular basis thing, but this year, one of the things I wanted to do was to try to go outside of that made to order box, and I will stock the ingredients that I need for a season or two, and those are the products that will be available during that time frame. And I'll pre-make as much as possible and then sell. So we're just getting started on this because I kind of forgot that was the plan. Got the ingredients, didn't start making stuff early, so we're starting with the spring season. So instead of having like tons of product out, I have the things that people want most during this time of year. And so yeah, big adjustment, a bigger adjustment than I thought, but big adjustment. And I like it so far. I know I have what people are gonna order because it's there. There's less to keep track of as well. And as far as the making space for other creativity or other creations, you've seen other things that I like to create. I like to watercolor. I like to, well, you haven't seen sketching because I don't do it very often, but I do like it. I like making other things. And I do that, but I don't know, I had like a wall in my head or in my heart maybe. Like, that's not creativity. Or this is creativity, but that's not, or whatever. So that adjusting that, I guess, frame of mind is what I was going with. Having willpower over myself, over what I want to do and what I can accomplish in a certain time frame, very important this month as well. You never know how you think about yourself until you really think about it or feel it, and then it's like, maybe that's not good for me to be thinking in that way. So let's adjust and be more positive, or have a more positive outlook for the future of what you can accomplish. So there's that. Kind of letting go of what no longer serves me, as I like to say. Next, the water card from Llewellyn deck, the Tower, or in this deck, it's called Bala Lake. They're on the top. So, as a reminder, this deck is based off of Welsh mythology. So, I just want to give you guys a quick glimpse at what the mythology behind Bala Lake is, because it'd be a lot. One of the favorite themes in Welsh legend is that of the inundation tale, in which towns and surrounding lands are drowned by the sea or a well which has been neglected or offended. The tale of Llyn Tegid, or Bala Lake, and that first Llyn Tegid is supposed to be like the Welsh name versus English, and I'm pretty sure I mispronounced that. Anyway, the tale of Llyn Tegid, or Bala Lake, is a fine example, having its roots in the old tradition of a well being the cause. It was said that the townspeople forgot to cover the well one night, which rose to swallow the site, leaving a lake 3 miles long and 1 wide. On calm, bright days, chimneys are said to be seen in the depths, and bell chimes have been known to rise to the surface. The latter version of the tale belongs to the Water and Warnings branch of tradition, as it employs water as the instrument of destruction and punishment for greed, arrogance, pride, etc. Legend says that on still nights, a voice skips over the surface of Bala Lake, warning vengeance will come, in an echo of the valley's traumatic past. So yeah, throw that on top of the whole destruction, catastrophic change that the Tower card always gives you, and that's to let you know something. For me, I think, again, this being a water card, so emotions, the unknown, spirituality, that's what water is as an element to me. And this showed up more towards the end of the month, like the last week or so, than anything. I was sick. Or actually, no. I was sick more the first week of the new month, so never mind that. I am, I guess, kind of unknowingly forcing myself to deal emotionally with the empty parts of my life. That sounds weird, but I relationships, my current ones and creating new ones, are part of my depth year goals this year. And one of the focus I have for this month, thanks to Esli Spencer's Lunar Abundance practice and New Moon meetup, was to try to strengthen my relationships with physical touch. And so that was a huge thing. I didn't make it a big deal, like an announcement with family or anything. I just like went in, and there's been more hugging and stuff. It's a lot. I Well, some of you might be watching this like, what the fuck is she talking about? And I just somehow, it's not somehow, but I'm trying to say this quickly. I like painted myself into this corner emotionally over a long period of years, being strongly introverted and being very strongly verbal about that fact. And I am also quite possibly, I'm not 100% sure, I'm not gonna go into it too much right now, but demisexual, and so not really, also potentially demi-romantic, which is why I just have no attraction for people unless I've known them for a while, and a while could be years. So, I don't have a lot of non-familial, non-friendly relationship experience, and I want that. I think the kind of lightning strike moment didn't happen this month. It's been happening slowly over time, and I'm realizing that I do want a relationship. I do want the physical side of a relationship and the emotional connection of one. And I also want my personal relationships with family and friends to be stronger than they are. So, not destructive per se, but the kind of like, this has been in a well deep in the dark of me, and then kind of slowly overflowed and took over everything, is very apt for this month. And I don't think that water is going anywhere for a while. I just been really feeling the push to be active about getting what I need emotionally. So yeah. Last card for the element of earth from the fairies oracle. Himself, myself, herself. So this guy, again, like I said before, I always think of as a major arcana card, even though this is an oracle deck and there's no minor or major arcana. But he only comes when all the other cards are major. So here he is, shining his light, looking at me in the eye like, what are you doing? He was very pushy. Earth being, the physical, your physical space, your physical body, finances, like the material things of the world, beauty. So there's a beautiful man here. Man being whatever, male himself. This is a beautiful himself here. And I always look at this and see like the Wiccan god, for example. If you are a Wiccan, This is a good, to me, picture to work with, to represent him. And it's a very earthy card, but he's got stars on his chest and his third eye and his crown and his hair. I was gonna talk about him abstractly. I want to give you guys a better idea, so I'm gonna read something from the book. Himself. Natural law, life force, magic, shamanic power. Known as himself, this she is guardian of both the hunter and the hunted, and finds no conflict in that because he understands that many necessary balances of nature. At the other end of our lives, he is the one who dances the great dance of life and death, and it is himself who, when the piper plays his lonely call on the wave-swept shore at the year's end, dances open the gate between the worlds so that the dead may pass. When himself appears, he is not only indicates that a great amount of energy is present in the reading, but also strongly energizes the fairy cards around him. Everything he touches becomes more of whatever it is, more alive, more vigorous, more powerful, more awesome, or more awful. This card in a reading can indicate great vitality, victory, or triumph, confidence, and power. There is leadership, an ability to command, steadfastness, and integrity. Himself speaks of protection, either of the querent or of someone the querent owes protection to. He is the preserver of the natural world and its balances. Shamanic power may be indicated here, as well as potential for powerful spiritual healing. I just always feel like he's looking at me like, you got the power. And I guess I did this month. This is always hard to like put into whatever, but what I did this month in particular, earthiness, was connecting with earth, planting and growing. I mean, it's that time of the year, but it's the earthiest thing I did. And also other than the seeds I planted and grew, the physical plant seeds, I did a lot for myself, for my business, for my future power and endeavors. So yeah, I'm gonna end that there and give you the preview cards for next month. So for April's reading, I have, for the element of air, the Lovers. And this being the Thoth Tarot, it's more about balance than about relationships. The alchemical marriage, so to speak. Then my fire card is Temperance. Having Temperance as your fire card is interesting. Another major arcana, of course. And then for my water card, I've got the Five of Pentacles. So this month is not an all majors month again. That's okay. But yeah, not ignoring what might be helpful to you. And lastly, my earth card, I got the Rar, which always looks like the snitch from Quidditch in the Harry Potter world to me. But flying away, this ball of energy, going where it needs to go. So that is my March Elemental reading and my April preview. Thank you so much for watching. I had all the cards right this month, so you'll see me next month in the next reading. Thank you. Bye.